The sun sets over Damascus, casting a golden hue across the shores of a land steeped in history and conflict. Syria, once underestimated, now stands on the precipice of a new era. Thanks to a mysterious benefactor with limitless wealth, the Syrian military has transformed itself into a mighty machine, seemingly overnight. Armed with cutting-edge technology and a renewed sense of purpose, they intend to reshape the balance of power in the region. A fleet of American ships is brazenly conducting exercises just beyond Syrian waters, and they are the targets of a sinister plot. The tension is thick as a bejeweled figure addresses a room full of well-dressed officers.
Brothers, our enemies believe that they can intimidate us with their shows of force. They are wrong. Today, we demonstrate our strength. The officers, a mix of seasoned veterans and eager young pilots, they listen intently. Outside, the roar of engines punctuates the night. Dozens of aircraft line the runways. Their pilots are ready. The American ships continue their maneuvers, oblivious to the rumbling menace. When the time comes, we will strike with the fury of 1,000 storms. We but await the signal.
There is a plan, you see. A cunning strategy to spark hostilities, using the Americans' own procedures against them. Bound by their protocols, they will be forced to act. And when they do, it will be the signal for Syria to retaliate with full force. Welcome back to Sea Power. I am recording this on launch day. We are a few hours away from launch day. And today we are playing as Syria. Now this situation sees us in charge of the Syrian Defense Force. And we have not much in the way of surface fleet. We've got a couple of SKRs, an OSA, and a Project 183. And we have contacts coming in pretty quickly by the look of it. Not far away. We're going to turn away the SKRs. They are not fit for surface combat, especially not against the US. Let's send our torpedo boat on a scouting mission. Make sure he's separated from the fleet. He's in weapons free, but we are making sure to have the surface radar on. The Project 183 only has a navigation radar, so it's not going to be too useful for finding anything. We've got an IL-38, anti-submarine maritime patrol aircraft, and we've got access to the airbase. Now this will be the first time I've actually used extensive air power, aside from what's been spawned. What have we got here? Lots of stuff going on. We've got the Kingfish and a Kipper. They're pretty capable. Let's launch the full batch of Tu-16Ks. What else do we have here? A bunch of helis, Tu-95, Tu-22, anti-ship loadout. Oh dear. 3 kitchen missiles. Oh, they are very scary. Very scary cruise missiles. Let's just launch everything. We've got Fox Bats. Someone gave the Syrians a serious budget. We've got Tu-16. Tu-142, Tu-95. Let's launch one of those. Tu-95 will be our AWACS. And we also have this thing here that didn't really exist, I don't think. Well, not in this format anyway. Oh, look at our fleet of bombers. These Americans, they're going to find out what happens when you give Syria a budget. Seems we already have some MiG-23s on a combat air patrol. And they're flying straight at the Americans. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. They will shoot you down. To set up a generous path there so they don't get antsy. We'll slow down our surface fleet. The OSA could be useful. Let's detach them from the SKRs. We'll keep the SKRs in a formation. And our torpedo boat is going to go and scout out the Americans. Try and sail across their bow and see what they do. And if they do attack him, that might just be the justification for a little bit of retaliation with all those bombers. Alright, I've got the IL-38 going to drop some sonar buoys. Let's put down some better pathing here. Alright, that should do it. Stay far away, low altitude. Try not to get him shot down. Does look like the sun is setting. Alright, let's mark up these Americans. It looks like we have 4 ships here. Heading northeast. Let's have a look at the info. The only info we have is from the MiG-23, and it thinks it's a merchant ship just based on its size. And they have some distance, so all they can make out is there's something large on the horizon, over the horizon. That's the Syrian Air Patrol. Okay. Right, the Flogger has air-to-air, and it is fitted with the Kerry, which is very short range, only 5 nautical miles, wire guided. That will be a suicide run, unless we distract them with something else, and probably won't do a lot of damage. But our bombers are coming. It's quite sedate watching all the bombers line up for takeoff, taxiing out. Fantastic. Alright, we have the Virginia. 2 of them. Uh-oh. What are these 2? We can detect their radar with ESM here. And it's telling us that it's either a Lutjen or a Charles F. Adams. So the probability is high that they're both Adams here, yep. We've detected their radar type. We've just identified their surface search radar. So the probability is high that those are Charles F. Adams in escort here. And our Syrian Air Patrol, what are you doing? I told you to... They're performing a mid-level ingress. They still have their waypoint set. Why are you attacking? You are trying to start a war here, sir. Return to formation. Oh, crap. They're being locked up. They're being locked up. They want to kill these Americans. Have they been... No, they're on weapons free. That's why. They had permission to just do attack on site. And because we have confirmed hostile ships, they're coming in there with their carries. Alright, we're cancelling that order. Going to MCON. We're pretty close. Oh, these guys might get shot down here. Take evasive action. Dump countermeasures just in case. The Americans would have seen that as hostile. They were coming in hot with their weapons radars on. Performing an ingress. Yeah, we've got SAMs out on us here. We need to hit the afterburner. We'll try and outrun these SM-1s. Afterburner, we've paused the game. We might be able to outrun these. We are high altitude. The missiles are ascending still. 13,000 feet. We're at 20,000 feet. Dropping countermeasures. Countermeasures, they're still gaining. Yeah, that guy is running fast because he knows something's on his tail. He's okay to do what he wants to get away. Dropping countermeasures again. Missiles still in pursuit. We're still illuminated. Alright, we're gonna have to dive here. The missiles are ascending to 17,000 feet. I think we can outrange them. Looks like one has died. And the other one's lost track. Excellent. Well, the Americans have fired the first shot. Whether they were allowed to, I would say they were. That was a pretty hostile act my MiGs were taking. But we've got them under control. And I have that AWACS aircraft coming out to form up in a formation with these guys. Yeah, so very large. Nuclear-powered cruiser. 2 of them. So we're going to probably cause a slight ecological disaster off the coast of Syria here if we sink these two ships. I don't know how safe a nuclear-powered ship is when it gets destroyed. Yeah, those are atoms. Definitely atoms. And that's just based on ESM. We've got the SPS-40 and the SPS-52. And a surface search radar. We can see them. They are medium in size. And they are a vessel. All the other information is just guesswork. Anything highlighted in green means it's confirmed. Let's set this air patrol up on a better formation so they don't get shot at again. And our big boys are taking off still. There's lots of them coming. Now they are splitting off into their own formations, so we will merge them all together into one giant wing. The fighters can take off 2-2. Looks like the bombers are taking off one by one. Alright, we'll set up their pattern in box pattern. And we will ascend to 20,000 feet. Now these are air-launched cruise missiles, so we've probably got a fairly large minimum launch distance, so we need to head inland, which is even better for us, because we don't have to put our bombers at risk. We're just conducting an exercise. Alright, setting up. Having a look at the rolls here. I don't see the rolls actually functioning as of yet, but you can assign them. Alright. We're going to stop. What are you doing here? Alright, we're going to stop this guy. Disband him out of his own formation. He can just run by himself. Alright, I think the last of those bombers are taxiing out now. We could probably set up another wave of bombers and just have two at once. Just fire all the missiles. Anything we fire today is still probably cheaper than what it costs to refuel a Virginia-class nuclear-powered cruiser. $300 million was the refuel cost. I mean, over the life of the ship, I'm sure it's cheaper than filling them up every week. Beautiful sights here. That's the last of our bombers. With that flight, anyway. Ascend. Ready for their military exercise. I could speed this up, but I haven't really enjoyed, or haven't had a chance to enjoy, air operations yet, and watching the aircraft do their thing. The formation system can be a little bit finicky if you don't know how it works, but after a while you sort of understand what it means. Let's go really tight formation. We do have to wait for the last of the bombers to join the flight. Now we've got two types of cruise missile on these guys. So we're going to test all the weaponry. Tu-22. Not as sleek as the American version of the fast strategic bomber. The old bone. We'll stop the OSA up here. Stop the SKR, slow them down. Just making sure that their fire control settings are alright. We don't want them opening fire. We want the Americans to fire the first shots. At the moment, we're still in our waters, apparently. And the Americans are encroaching on our waters. Apparently, they're doing a military exercise as well. Right, we've got a surface search radar. How far is it? 324 miles, and that is to help us lock these cruise missiles on. But we do have AWACS on their way, so we'll have multiple amounts of sensors to watch this strike. Alright, so the plan here is to draw a line in the sand eventually. And if the Americans cross it, we will go out to intercept them and say, hey, what are you doing in our waters? You're not supposed to be here. And demand that they leave. And see what happens. Sending one torpedo patrol boat to ask a fleet what they're doing in your waters, I think is okay. I'm pretty sure that that's not seen as overtly hostile, especially not in the modern age. But we don't have the luxury of asking the other guy what he's doing, so we have to sail up to him and see. There's no radio contact yet. We know they're American. They are hostile, but we're not at war with them. So I would like to see some scripting, you know, where something changes from neutral to hostile based on, say, what? You cross their borders so that all the local fishermen become hostile, like that sort of thing. I would like to see those sorts of scenarios. I tried to make the script do that, but I'm not so experienced at scripting. I know what I want, I just don't know how to make it happen. And I was trying to make a scenario where a fleet was sailing through a passageway, and if you deviate from the corridor, the shipping lane, then the locals would become hostile, but I couldn't get the script to work. So I'll keep trying. Or if someone wants to take that on board, I'd like to see a scenario like that. In my scenario, I had this Soviet fleet trying to sail through past Norway, and if you cross into the Norwegian area, they get really angry at you. But it didn't work. So I'll have to keep trying. I've just set up a plot here for the Americans, so we know where they're going, where they will be. They're not deviating from their course, and our suspicions were confirmed. They are indeed Charles F. Adams, 2 of them, helping to provide the anti-air cover, as well as anti-submarine. But we got no U-boats, we got no subs. Alright, setting up a flight path for our heavies while we wait for the Tu-22s to come up. So we should have 12 and 12. Yeah, so it says here in the encyclopedia that that was designed for the Orel, or going to be for the Orel, that AWACS aircraft. Beautiful sight there as the 22 takes off. His friend's circling the runway. Yeah, it says designed to operate from the Orel carriers and developed in the mid-1970s. It would have fulfilled the same role as the E-2 in the US Navy. And goddamn, those engines are loud. It's funny because the game can be very quiet, and then all of a sudden, because you've switched view to one of the aircraft, so I will need to balance the engine sounds, I think. Casual sounds of the ocean, and then it's the roar of an engine as it soars overhead. It's a very aesthetically pleasing game. I have released my thoughts on the AI system itself, and I wasn't trying to disparage the game at all. That should be released very soon, that video. I have nothing but praise for the game, and I want nothing but the best for it, and I think we have a real winner here. So all of my criticisms came from a place of love, and that is probably the best form of constructive criticism in my view. If I was going to disparage the game, I wouldn't have said anything. Because it's better to just shut your mouth if you don't have anything nice to say. Alright, our TP... the TP boat. The toilet paper boat is going out to see what these Americans are up to. And they're going to treat him like toilet paper, I can assure you. I've set up a range here for his anti-surface torpedoes. He has 2 of them. But I don't like his chances of survival. And the sun is rising here. It's just deceiving because I thought I was looking out to sea. But in fact, the sun is rising. So it's a good day to die for the Americans, I think. And for these guys in the TP boat. Oh, poor guys. They don't know it yet. They just think they're going to ask these Americans to politely leave. The OSA is waiting for the signal. IL-38 dropping down the sonar buoys in case the Americans have a submarine presence, because they can launch harpoons from their subs. And the invisible harpoon is the one that kills you, so we've just got to be prepared for that. Alrighty, we have 20 aircraft. We have another 4 still taxiing for takeoff. That last flight there, I think we will merge them in and it should be good to go. Woohoo! There are going to be a lot of cruise missiles. Stay tuned for the release. Alright, so we have the plots here for the Americans and we have the range circle for our TP boat. And I'm going to try and see how far I can advance the range circle into their estimated course and then sit dead, stopped, and wait for them to come to us. And if they turn hostile, if they open fire, I could probably just dump the fish and hope that the fish then hit the Americans as they progress on their track. Just going to cinematic cam so we can see that aircraft take off. Beautiful sight. Blue afterburners. Okay, where were we? So that last flight is almost airborne. We're going to merge them into our main TU-25 flight. And then we have the TU-95, which is going to act as a long-range AWACS. We have the short-range E2 thing. I forgot what its name is. I'm going to call it the Paladin. So that little Russian aircraft is called the Paladin, in my view. There's a screenshot there. Love me a good screenshot. Different to the American E3, the radar dome is on the belly. I think it's only surface search. Okay. The TP boat TK-1266 is on their merry way. The sun is rising. They have the sun behind them. That's a good thing. I'm not sure if we've been spotted on the American search radars. We probably have all 4 ships are scanning. Well, this is a pretty small boat, so we may not be very visible. We are putting out a lot of smoke, so we'll slow down a little bit and try and creep up a bit closer. They would be listening to us with their hydrophones too, but the Americans are at pretty high speed, so perhaps they can't hear us. Whichever the case, we're just going to try and get these guys as close as they can. Let's see how the Americans react to their presence of a torpedo boat off the bow. The unfortunate thing is this boat is flying a Soviet flag, so that's not going to do us any favors. Yeah, very calm, and shortly we will switch back to the roar of the aircraft. We're getting close to the track of the bottom atoms, but I would like to creep in so that the range circle is touching the second atoms as well. And then we will just stop dead. Just adjust these tracks here for their true bearing, which is 032. So we have the most precise angle possible for a torpedo launch if we need to. I'm not hopeful we'll hit with a torpedo, but it would be nice to kick off a modern skirmish with an old-fashioned torpedo strike from a toilet paper boat. Even a bog hammer would be able to attack by now, with its grad-style launcher on the roof. How's the flights going? Tighten these guys up, put them in the box, and space them up really tight so that we just look like a humongous blob on the radar of the American ships. One massive blob, just like a massive UFO. I mean, surely it's not 24 strategic bombers of the Syrian Air Force. Surely not. Look at that formation. Beautiful. Take another screenshot of that one. Oh, look at that turn. Synchronized turn. These pilots are the best of the best. Alright. Our toilet paper boat is just entered into the course of the most southern Charles. Let's try and get really close. We may have to go slower. The slower we go, the less of a threat we might appear to be in the real world. Or we could just go flank ahead, full 40 knots straight at them, which is a lot more scary. Alright, our T-95 is on position, he says. So I'm going to slow down the torpedo boat. That would be the prudent thing to do. Right, the rest of the bombers are starting to catch up there. They'll enter into formation. They've got heaps of fuel, so we can just go back and forward all day if we need to. We're missing one T-22 from this formation. What happened here? He's not in a formation. There is a bit of a thing that if you double-click on a unit that's in formation, sometimes it drops them out of the formation. It can be quite annoying, but you just go join formation again to slot them straight back in. Also, when a unit has an attack order, it likes to just go and do its own thing, and once it's completed its order, it'll slot back into formation. So if you're having trouble getting something go back into formation, hit cease fire and then return to formation, and it should fix the issue. Alright, our bombers are all set, and when you're trying to control large formations like this, it can be annoying to accidentally drop them out. Or give the wrong aircraft the order so that it goes off to do its own thing. Always try and give your lead aircraft the order for the entire formation. Again, here I've just had a bomber drop out of formation because I double clicked on it. Yeah, just again. I think that's a bug. I'm not sure if that's intended. You can like click and drag a unit into a formation on this formation manager. But I would like it to be a little bit more clear, or maybe have a tooltip or something to assist. See, I've had another one drop out, Todd. Yeah. Anyway. We are in early access, so I'm not fussed. Not fussed at all. And historically, complex strategy games do have their own little quirks that you just get used to over the period of time. Like, I've played some really complex strategy games that some were like, I played one particular game, Sword of the Stars 2, which is one of the most famous failures of development for a game that was excellent in its first iteration. And Sword of the Stars 2 is playable if you're a masochist, because it's just not finished, and the UI is terrible. But once you overcome that hatred of the UI, it's actually really fun and engaging game, and I still play it to this day. Probably one of the only people on Steam that does. Ironically, it was one of Angry Joe's biggest disappointments, because he loved that series as well. Alrighty, we are almost ready for our attack. It's really just up to the torpedo boat. This could just be a formation flight today, or it could be full-scale discard of all weapons. Oh, we've had all the bombers are crossing each other's flight paths. Like I said, early access, not fast. They still look cool flying around. This guy's breaking away. Mostly everything's looking good. A few stragglers trying to catch up. We'll slow the formation down so that they can really tighten the formation up. They're only catching up by, say, a knot or two at a time. Well, let's try and do some fancy camera work here. An extra layer of fun for me is balancing playing the game with taking cinematic shots that still look cool. I think I've got the camera control down pat. Nice and close here. Listen to that whine of the turbines over the wing. I think I could use that footage for something cool. And the sun is well and truly up over Syria. I think the game is visually stunning. I love it. Absolutely love it. It really is a sandbox game. Like, you want to come and play with your toys? You don't have to grind for 40 hours just to earn your favorite vehicle. You can just slap them on the board and watch what they can do. And for a lot of people, that'll be the main draw. I think that they've definitely got that. And just the ability for people to express their imagination and build the ultimate scenario to their tastes is really going to be a winner, I think. Once we get the knowledge out there on how all the scripting works, what's the best way to do it, the meta for scripting, I think the game will be amazing. I mean, I saw that people are already asking how to mod and the game hasn't even come out yet, so I just know there's potential there for that. I will release one of the missions I made, the chicken nugget run off the coast of Vietnam, which I made a video about. I will release that as soon as the game is live on the Steam Workshop. You'll be able to find it. I might include a link so that you can play it. I tried to design it as a bit of a practice mission. You'll get to use, all of your sensors. You'll have to identify targets that are tangled up with neutrals because the Vietnamese fishermen just have to do their fishing. They don't care about you. They need their fish. Alright, these nuclear-powered cruisers, quite intimidating. Gun and missile armament. But we have sort of gotten pretty close. The closest Virginia is just under 8 nautical miles. They are visible on the horizon for us. I'm not sure if we're visible to them. Let's slow right down here. Our range circle is touching the second Adams course, but it would be extremely low probability that we would hit them with a torpedo. The bottom Adams, however, if I'm given 5 more minutes, I think I could hit him with a torpedo. The question remains whether the Americans will give me 5 more minutes. The Americans aren't moving very fast, but I'm sure if we creep, and we only have navigation radar, we don't need it, we can see them. There's no point turning it on. We could just be out for a leisurely sail and... Uh-oh. They've lit up one of our aircraft with radar. Oh, this harpoon out. Oh, I'm sorry, TP. TP's about to get nuked. Oh, you bastards. They've opened fire. The shells were already out. Fish away. We've dropped a fish in retaliation. They have him dialed in. And the Syrian TP boat, its engine stalled. He doesn't know what to do. They've been hit. Shell fragments obliterating the guy in the front gun. And our combat air patrol is being illuminated. So the Americans have said, nah, you're too close. Piss off. Well, you know what, mate? It's our waters. Turn away, Migs. You don't want to get clapped by an SM-1. Alright. Birds are ready, except this straggler here. Return to formation. Now it's about to get real. Whoa. My bomber formation is lit up by radar. The RWR and my heavy bombers is screaming at them. Now it's time to designate some targets. I have a lot of designations to do. I may have to trim it out. I've got so many aircraft to designate, and I want to make sure that they're all attacking someone. Through careful use of pause feature and changing camera angles, you can make something cool like this. Our aircraft should launch at any second, and then I'll quickly pause the game and move somewhere else, and then pause the game and move somewhere else. But here we go. I think that ought to do it. I think that will do it. Slightly. I'm pretty sure each of those bombers just launched 3 cruise missiles. And we have 3 different flavors today on the menu. I'm going to tell everyone to return to base before they start slinging as long-range missiles as they can muster. I'm actually really proud that the game can render this many missiles and track them all. Alright, all of our bombers are Winchester. Pretty sure. High altitude supersonic cruise missile, anti-ship cruise missiles. I hope they're ready. These things are going to come down like bats out of hell. I separated the launch so we have 2 distinct attack angles coming in. Looks like one swarm of missiles is a lot faster than the other, and there's a few missiles lagging back behind. Or maybe they were just late launches. We'll see. That is a lot. 180 nautical mile range on that variant. What about the Kingfish? 160 nautical miles. Yeah, this is going to hurt them. And then the Kipper is 150. But with a much shorter minimum range, which makes it a bit more useful. You don't have to fly away to fire it. Well, our swarm of angry bees is just about to cross the coastline. Destroying our TP boat was the worst thing the Americans have done in the last decade, I think. Worst decision, tactically, they could have made. Because the unknown benefactor who's given Syria this air force has given them a way to strike back. I dare say that's because you can't edit what aircraft are in an airbase yet, as far as I'm aware, and so it just gives you everything. We have 180 aircraft. I could do this mission 100 times and just try out all different variants of airstrikes. So I guess this would be a good training mission for running pure air ops against a fairly well defended convoy. But I don't think there's enough anti-missile defense to deal with this. I think we're coming down hard. And I think it doesn't matter how many missiles they shoot down, we've well and truly oversaturated them. Yeah, this swarm's a bit slow. This is the one that's going to come and finish off the humiliation. There's a Tu-95 out here at high altitude to watch the show. He won't make it in time. Oh, we're on our descent now. And there's a massive cloud bank. This is going to be some cinematic shit. Oh, coming in hot and a million knots. I don't think vampire is the word for this. I think you start playing the Titanic music. The band keeps playing. Alright, their counter defenses are out, but I don't think it matters. Don't think it matters. If they get this down, I will be extremely pleased with the American defense capability. But as we get closer, these missiles just can't track such a fast-moving target. We've had overshoots with this particular missile took the chaff, but nope, Virginia slammed. Simultaneously, 3 explosions on the horizon. And it looks like the last Adams might survive. Let's have a quick look. Is he going to live? Oh. Is he going to live? Oh, nothing went for him. He's still firing defense missiles. There's still something coming for him. Oh, they're still all they all went for the Virginia. Everything went for the Virginia. Despite me choosing different targets, they decided that Virginias must die. And these missiles look extremely high, so maybe they've lost track. Yeah, we've had some overshoots because their main target has been annihilated. And the ones going for the Adams have overshot too. And they... Oh shit. That commercial tanker, is that... I'm thinking that's neutral, unless it's the aircraft carrier. Wouldn't that be funny if it was a Nimitz or something? An unintentional carrier kill. Holy shit, whatever's there might die very soon. Let's launch some more aircraft. What have we got access to? Precision strikes. Let's launch all of those. Just for fun. But I think, for all intents and purposes, the Americans have been deleted. Their 2 prize nuclear-powered cruisers have just been deleted off the coast of Syria. Possibly a major ecological disaster about to happen. Got lots of anti-ship options here. Saturated with choice. Launch those 2. All the floggers. Right, so is this Adams going to survive? This final slow flight of cruise missiles. Let's have a look at the camera here. Oh, they're still going for Virginia. Damn it. That's no good. Alright, Osa's having a turn. We still have the Osa here, sitting off the coast. You just watched a massive swarm of bees delete everything on the horizon. Alright, get him out. Oh, damn it, he only fired 1. All 4. Empty the tubes. While the Adams is distracted by all of these rogue cruise missiles going over him. That's better. Alright, now he needs to go home before he gets clapped. And let's see if these guys take the Adams. That was close, but no cigar. Ooh, that one was a big hit. Wreckage almost taking out the one we're following. But no, they're going over the top. No good. I'm determined to get this Adams. Here come the Osa revenge. The Adams has been looking high for a long time. Maybe he hasn't seen these ones. Yep, he's seen them. Yes, we're in the range. As long as this one doesn't get hit. Oh, no. Alright, we have 2 more left. Yes, we're within range. He can't hit us with missiles now. We've done it. And that, my friends, is what happens when Syria has an unlimited Air Force budget. I am Commander Tyrael. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Enjoy your time in Sea Power if you're buying it. If not, I will see you in the next episode as our floggers go out to do a victory dance.